Welcome back to the Entrepreneur Social Podcast. I'm Erastus. So today on this episode, we're hanging out with Alexis from Alexa Creation. And today we're going to be learning her story of how she started and how she's going about her entrepreneurship journey.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So for people that don't know who you are, let the audience know exactly who you are and what is it that you do.
Perfect. So I'm Alexis Relford. I own Alexis's Creations. I started in the industry doing crafts and selling sublimation bleach blanks. Went viral for that and then opened up our sublimation blank storefront. And now we do all kinds of things like drop shipping, wholesaling, and mentoring people. Entering into it all, but we did used to cater to just sublimation. That's where we got known in the industry for.
So give us a little history of what sublimation is for those that don't know.
Perfect. So sublimation is an ink that adheres to a polyester fabric. So the problem is when I got into sublimation is nobody wanted to just wear white shirts. So I started so they would have a white space to the ink. So sublimation is ink versus a vinyl. So it just takes any white substrate and changes it to whatever you want.
I mean, myself, I know a little bit, one or two about sublimation, right? And what you did was like what you brought to the community or the market that we know, right? Our Facebook community that's all over the world. What you did by basically giving people the opportunity to do something that we couldn't do, right? Because with sublimation, you have to or it was known that it has to be on polyester garment, 100% polyester. And most of the time, those polyester shirts that are in the market were shirts that are super thin, and people like our clients or customers, they're used to that thicker feel, right? So, and they're used to that gilding, which is much thicker. So what you did, or what I'm understanding that you did, was basically took a shirt and created a white spot on any gilding shirt, right? Because sublimation needs to
Yes,
be white. So a white spot
right.
on any gilding shirt, so then it's able to be sublimated.
Perfect. Exactly.
Wow. And you got a whole
So,
lineup of that over there.
exactly.
For people that are watching the video of this podcast here, you just seeing the little gyps of what Alexa has going on here, and that's her storefront that she's coming in from.
Right. So when I started, I was a general manager and I worked a lot. So my biggest goal when I got fired from corporate America was to give business owners the opportunity to not feel like they had to pick between their job or their passion, which is their business. So it started as t-shirts, but my target audience is business owners. So everything I sell, everything I do, I wholesale and then I ship it to their customers to pretend to be them. So it's always been an idea of growing other businesses. So when I started selling t-shirts, the blanks was to help business owners save time. It takes hours to bleach t-shirts, so if I could sell business owners those blanks and save them hours to give time for their kids and their family, that's what was important to me. And that's what started it for me, was just to make more time for my family and with my kids.
Making more time for your family and for your kids. That's the ultimate goal that most people want to
Yeah.
do, right? Most entrepreneurs are working a full-time job. And from what I'm hearing you, like when you started, is it did you start this at the same time when you were still working your full-time job as a manager? That's the same
Yeah.
time when you
So
started the business. Tell me a little bit about that transition there from a full-time job and how was it for you? Was it easy? But let's start where why.
So when the pandemic hit, I had already, I was a general manager at a craft location. So I picked this up as a hobby. So I'd already done crafts. And then when the pandemic hit, my work hours just got insane. And I just was not in a place where I could be away from my kids and my husband even more in a pandemic of horrible customers. So what I personally did, take that fire and personally I put myself on medical leave, focused on my health. Mentally I wasn't there. I wasn't a good mom. I wasn't a good wife. So put myself on medical leave and I just started focusing on me. Self-help. I lost 150 pounds. I had a lot of mental issues and cancer scares. So I did take medical leave for a reason. But mainly when I went, I wanted to focus on myself. And when I focused on myself, my business blossomed. I got fired from corporate America on medical leave. And of course, at that particular moment, it wasn't something that I was excited or happy for. I was scared. Lost medical insurance for me and my kids. Um, but I think it was God pushing me to tell me that you have this in you and you need to leave that on faith. So I was forced into it. But when I got fired, it was not even a second question if I was going to put an application in anywhere else. Because if you're that disposable to somebody after that many years, why would you put yourself in that predicament again? And so that's why I do what I do.
You said a lot there, and first of all, thank you for sharing some of like your transparency around your health and all of that stuff. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. Starting a business and dealing with the personal things, right, that you have to go through. You can't get away from some of those things that we deal with. Yes, we do have a health issue. Yes, we do have a family. But there are some things that you said I want to get a little bit into, like when you say you felt like you wasn't a good wife, it wasn't a good mom, like how? Like go into that a little bit more for
Yeah,
me.
just working. When you work for a company that you're not necessarily happy with, you give all of your energy into that. And when you come home, you're yelling at your kids, you're ordering takeout 24/7, not spending quality time. I can tell you my daughter is 9 years old and just got into sports for the first time because I've been so busy wrapped around corporate America that I let my kids be on the back burner over my career. I let my husband always support me, but never really put him first, like date nights, going out, things of that sort. That just wasn't what we did. I worked, he
Mm.
worked. It was too much. So it really came down, to be honest with you, where it was either my career, my marriage, or me. Like I got to a point where I hated who I was. I got to a point where therapy was the only way I kept waking up every day. And so when I got to that point where I didn't want to wake up, I knew I had to make a life change. And that lifestyle change was focusing on my mental health and what made me happy. And what made me happy was creating and helping build people. And so that's just what I've done. So in that, focusing on me, I've lost 150 pounds. I'm healthy. I wake up every day and I want to do what I do every day, which makes me a better mom, which makes me a better wife. So I truly just tell people, like, if you love your job, great. Don't leave corporate America if that's not what you want, but be happy with whatever it is you want to do.
That's that transformation that people need to hear, like you have to basically make a decision. I understand you have to make a decision because yes, we all have a job, right? And most likely you kind of aren't happy with the job. Especially like who you are, you got something inside of you. You got to do something for yourself to make that change. So you got to decide, are you going to go with the job or you're gonna go with you and be a better you, right? Because once you decide that you want to go and be a better you, it's easy. It's like things just starts to fall in place. You don't have to explain yourself to nobody. Like
Hmm.
I tell people all the time, I used to struggle with a job when I had to like make excuse to go ahead and like get my kid out of a
Right.
hospital because they're sick. I mean, or I have to, hey, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling good today. Like I don't like that type of lifestyle. So in order for me to live the way I wanted, I had to make the decision as well. It's like, hey man, I didn't get fired. I decided to go, but
Right.
it's just finding that right time. So when did you know it was the time was right? I mean, you said you got fired. So you got fired on maternity leave. So
Went medical leave for my mental health and stuff like that. I got fired. They said me running a business was a conflict of interest, even though I had this business for multiple years prior to going on medical leave. But again, I think it was just God just saying, hey, here's your push. I was never going to leave corporate America. I'm one of those people. I was okay with my salary paycheck. It made ends meet. But now that I have the time with my kids and I have the time with my family, and I don't, like you're saying, I can go pick up my kids right now. If my kid's school calls, I don't have to worry about my bosses calling. I can go take a week vacation and I don't have to worry about my employees making me feel bad because I'm not there to run the store. So it's entrepreneurship gives you just the freedom to be who you are.
yes.
It's not all rainbows, it's not all great. We have good
Sheesh.
months, we have bad months. But the reality is the fact that my kids are in sports. I can go pick up my son and my son can come up here and do office days with me. That means the world to me because the stuff I couldn't do with my daughter when she was his age.
Right. That's important, man. So if you in a if you in a situation where you're just looking for freedom and you don't have to answer to nobody, and honestly you hit that job, I would just say figure out what it is that you're good at, right? And most times people are already in a lifestyle that shows what they should be doing, but we're just not
Hmm.
sensitive to it. So how I'm sure there was a lot of other things that you're involved in, right? You didn't just do craft and all of that. So why did you decide that crafting was the path that you wanted to move a little further in instead of any of your other ventures that you had going on before?
Honestly, just being a business owner is something I've always wanted. My mom has had multiple businesses growing up. I've always watched her just live that lifestyle as being a boss and just, doing that. I want to be able to break generational curses for my kids. I want to be able to give them the leg up that I didn't get. And so when I push and I drive, it's just to give not necessarily just my family, but any person who wants knowledge. Knowledge is power from everybody. And so I take knowledge and get all these different tools from all these people and I use it. And that's what I just try to teach people, that there's so many people in this world that have so much knowledge. Just take what you can use and let go of what you can't.
So I want to step back a little bit because
Yeah.
you keep bringing up your mom and all of that and how business impacted your life. Tell me a little bit into the path. Like how did you grow up? You know, where did you grow up? A little bit about that.
Really don't have a quote unquote home. Denison, Texas would be the closest things to home. So that's why we would live here now. Went to lots of different schools, bounced around. My mom was a regional manager and owned different businesses. So we've always just relocated and just dealt. So when I became an adult, I really wanted to just set a foundation, bought a house super quick, and just want to have that local community and just like home feeling. So I grew up not necessarily rich or poor, just getting by paycheck to paycheck. Of course, I have a lot of my followers know I have a lot of, mental issues that I went through as a kid. I went through a lot of sexual abuse and things of that sort. So I have a really deep, dark story in my past, but I'm just a big person of overcoming what you've went through and not allowing your past to define who you become. So me and my husband, we have four total. I have two bonus babies. They're 12 and 11, and then my children are 9 and 4.
Wow. So this morning you shared a picture of your son
Yes.
pumping the gas.
Yes. He
Pumped
trying to pump the gas because dad does that. So he's
right. People would say, "Oh, that was cute." Okay, that was cute, but that's more than just being cute, man. That applauds his father in my eyes, right? Because he has a role model. You know,
yeah.
like there's something that's inspiring him to do that and know, like, man, my mom ain't finna pump no gas here, man. Like, because dad ain't around. You know, like
Yes.
that. I seen that this morning. I was like, oh wow. You know, because my son be doing some crazy stuff, man. My son would come outside on his way in. He would sneak like the grass
Oh.
and stuff like that and bring it inside. And now my wife is like, yeah, you should be more like him. You know, I start learning from him. I'm just like, there's some things he would do. I'm just like, wow. The kids see a lot of those things. He's like, okay,
Hmm.
daddy used to do it, but dad don't do it anymore. And I know mom likes this. So I'm gonna keep doing it, right? And it just that meant a lot sharing that this morning. I was like, wow, there's a connection here because we need to just be better role models for our children. Being a busy mom and a busy wife and owning and running your own business. And I know you say a little bit about you got some students and all that. We'll dive into that later. But like, where do you find the time to balance all of that, right? People talk about life, what they call work-life balance and all that thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
how do you? I mean, how do you juggle all these things?
To be honest with you, I involve my family as much as possible in what we do.
Yes.
So, my husband, of course, didn't start crafting. He wasn't in the crafting industry, but he saw the fire that it gave me and he supported that. And he saw that the love and like he just took that. And now we do tumblers together. He has his own section in the store. So, it's the moment that the people that you love see what you're doing and you involve them in it, they have a passion. I tell people all the time, this isn't your spouse's dream. This isn't your kid's dream. This is your dream.
Your
So the
dream.
reality is you got to show them, why is this your dream? Why does this make you happy? Why is it beneficial for y'all? Family, friends, everybody. I don't expect my husband to support everything I do at every moment in time, but I need him to respect and understand that this is my dream, and he does that. And to get him to that point was showing him the ins and out of what we do. Same thing with my kids. My kids are on payroll. My kids bleach with me. My kids make allowance money, savings money for college. We just got the 360 photo booth, so that will be my husband's new endeavor, because, of course, you want to have them have their own lane. If this is something that's important to them and they want to support you, that's great. But my husband doesn't want to be in my shadow, and I don't want to be in his. So we want to have our own lanes and do it respectfully and happily together. He's been an amazing supporter this entire time. Anything I want, anything I need for the business, he buys. But it got so much better the moment that he realized why I love this and why he should love this and what it does for our family. And it's just made it that much better. And same thing with the kids.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that's one thing I like to do too. I like to keep my kids involved. My wife not as much. She's behind the scene with a lot of things because that's just her type of thing, right? But the kids, my kids love like my daughter, especially when you tell them, "Oh yeah, you can make money today. You want to buy this thing? Go ahead and come in and work and do this." My
Right.
daughter's she'll have some times where she puts herself off. Yeah, I'm off this time, daddy. Yeah, but then when that cash app started to look a little thin, it's
Yeah.
oh, daddy, got anything for me to do over there? Yeah, baby, you can come on
Yeah.
in, and all of that. So you mentioned that you have your kids on payroll. You
Yes.
have them on payroll, and what are some of the benefits of having your kids on?
I'm not going to pretend like I know everything. Like I said, last year we had a very successful business year, sales wise, but we did not run our business properly. So, of course, we got tax people, CPAs, and they've given us a lot of guidance. So you, of course, need to look up the rules. My 4-year-old can't run my heat press. My 12-year-old can't do certain things. They can't be around chemicals and stuff like that. But folding shirts and having age appropriate tasks is a write off, and under so much money per state and per the federal government, you can write off. So just, I would tell y'all to get with your CPAs and your tax people and ask them those types of write offs if you have kids. My children will work for whatever they get. So this is a way for them to not only build a college fund, but also allowance. And like you're saying, if my daughter wants a toy, okay, great, come on, let's come work.
Yeah.
You gotta teach them that I don't want my kids to go through the same struggles me and their fathers went through, but I definitely want them to understand that they can get it if they work hard.
Mm. That's true. You can get it if you work hard and work for it, make it your own, earn your own path. You don't have to
Yeah,
wait for anybody. You see me do it, you can go out and do it yourself, right? And that's
right.
that's super important, and it builds a relationship with the children, and then to
Hmm.
see the mom working and to understand how important it is to put their hands to work. So tell me a little bit about where you're at now in the storefront, because what started as just a bleach tea business
Yeah.
has now end up into a storefront. All right. So take me a little bit through that process. Maybe you can take me back in the last pandemic, 2.5 years or something, right? Like take me back in the last 2.5 years as the pandemic was going through. What happened for your business and where it is now, where it was and where it is now?
So, of course, like I said, my target audience has always been business owners. So, when I started the t shirts, that's what it was, me providing a service. And then it came slowly to me listening to the needs of them. Hey, I want you to send finished shirts to my customers. Hey, I want finished tumblers. Hey, do you have other sublimation blanks? So, my business definitely grew just listening. I'm very big on listening to my followers, listening to the needs. Do trial and error. I grabbed certain blanks that didn't work out, and then I have blanks that do work out. When it came to my storefront, I really just wanted to help my overhead costs and be able to have a space that was outside my home to have everything go to. I feel like me individually, I'm a lot better outside my home and I work better outside my home. Like you're saying, it started as t shirts, but I have visions of teaching classes and having kids camps and crafting classes and all kinds of amazing things. We can't do that without space. So that's what we got the storefront for. And we're just slowly growing. Like I said, I have a 3,000 square foot warehouse and only about 1,000 of it has stuff in it. Everything else is empty because we're still growing these visions and dreams that we have.
Still growing the vision and dreams. And the bigger the dream, the bigger the vision,
Yeah,
the more
and I don't want to move no
sophisticated.
more. This is my second time moving already in 2 years. So I'm like, I need a space I can get into, grow into. And then also that it means a lot being where I'm at. I'm in downtown in the place that I was born. Like I told you, I don't really have a home. I jumped around a lot, moved from place to place, but this is the closest thing I have as home. Like when I think of my grandma and grandpa, I think about here. So it was just super important to have this place, especially in downtown where we're at. So it's nice.
I'm glad that you're loving that whole transition from home to a storefront, and
Yeah.
especially being able to realize that your overhead you needed to separate those things, and you probably get a lot more done in a dedicated space that is focused on just that type of work than trying to. I think like it'll be hard. I can't relate to be a mom, a wife, and run the business all in the same house. Kids come home from school. I mean, you busy. They don't want to work right now, but you tell them, no, you gotta come to make these shirts. But if the kids can go home and you're at the shop, things separates everything. It's a better type of flow, in my opinion, which is why we made the decision to move into a storefront too, right? When I started, it was in the closet space.
Yeah.
Like it was in the closet. I could barely even stretch my arm in that space, right? But you're gonna have to just start where you're at. If you start
Mhm.
where you're at and then you move ahead and let the business direct the growth. Like some people get so fast and just start investing and moving ahead of themselves than what their skill level is, right? Like your skill level, or even the business hasn't proven themselves yet, but you're so far into, I guess I would say, investing in yourself. You think you're investing in yourself the right way, but those investments are not really moving the dials
Right.
over, right? Because you haven't perfected the thing yet. I mean, so you talked a little bit about students and all of that. So tell me a little bit about what it is that you offer to the students, and how can anybody tap into that?
Yeah. So I have a group on Facebook called Dropshipping University and Beyond. And it's really just a drop shipping, what is drop shipping group. So if you don't know what drop shipping is, in that group, I teach you how to make money spending no money. I teach you what I do, how I sell t-shirts, and really what the process is. In that group as well, we do all kinds of different crafts, sublimation, vinyl, DTF, everything. But my biggest thing is having students and growing a community of people that are vendors. So what that means is I wholesale t-shirts and tumblers. I have other vendors in my group that do wooden items and signs and banners. So my big thing is just growing a community of people and giving them a platform and the ability to really just provide service to grow businesses. Because we have people who are nurses and doctors who love their jobs. So we don't need to have them have to feel like they have to pick. So that's what drop shipping is, but it's drop shipping in the US. We all drop ship from overseas people. We all know that, we have vendors that we can get stuff from China, but why not grow up us? Like that's what I want to do. Why not grow US based vendors that are in our community? So that's what I do. That's what we do. My students, they come over there, they learn whether they want to learn how to drop ship, they want to learn how to craft, they want to learn how to become a vendor. That's what I do.
Wow.
Anything they want to learn. I mean, I have a mentorship program that they've talked me into starting. So I do all kinds of stuff. Like I said, I listen to the needs. I don't like to come up with a ton of new services. So everything that I have has been there for a while. Because again, it's all about just building businesses and whatever they want.
It's all about building businesses, giving people what they want. And I will add one more thing, and building communities, right? You talked a little
Hmm.
bit about building about building communities, and I've been talking a lot about building communities and showing people how they can do the same thing for a long time. Tell me a little bit about how important you think building a community, especially as a business owner, is now in today's world.
Your community is everything. Your customers, what you do, and what you provide is just who you are. So, like me, I teach my students you need to build a relationship with your community. You need to let them see who you are. So, people know Alexis is going to go live 2 or 3 times a week and I can talk to her anytime I want. My community is my community. So, what's for me is for me, what's for everybody else is for everybody. So, I know that, everybody says collaboration off of competition, but how many times do we really go in and learn from multiple different people? That's what I teach my people. Hey, this person's good at this. This person's good at this. This person's good at this. Local, these people hated when I opened up because I was another t-shirt shop
Yeah.
until I went into their store and I'm not another t-shirt shop. Let me sell you t-shirts wholesale. Your business. So it's a way of how you look at things. So many people look at it as a competition, especially locally. Build your community up and just know what's for you is for you. If you're the right person morally, that will be shown. And
Yeah.
that's just what I've always done. Stuck to who I am. If it doesn't fit me, if it's not with what aligns with who I am, then go a different path.
Yes, yes, yo. So, yes, you hit all those things on the head over there. I look at it this way, right? My community basically does my customer service for me. Like they're the folks
Yeah.
that's answering the questions, that's like giving me new ideas to come out with new
Hmm.
products. And those are mind raving fans, right? It's like having a group of people that's holding their hand up, cheering for you in one place. And those
Hmm.
same people, if you do this thing correctly, building a community, if you do it correctly, those are your ideal clients. Like, if you set this up right, where you have the people that you want to serve in a community and you do what you need to do to bring value to them, it's almost endless the results that you can get. So I tell people all the time, build a community, serve people well, and let them know, like, and trust you. And their pocket is almost gonna be like a well. They're gonna just keep chinging you every single time because people will pay for value. And if you bring in
Right.
value, they will come. Especially if it's in a community, we're looking to feel belonging to something, right? Especially
Hmm.
during the pandemic time, man. Like, how often, like, you were just alone looking to be around somebody, but your community was there for you to just turn on that camera and go live and all those. So
Right.
I want to talk a little bit about your strategies, right? What is your strategy of bringing people into that community so that way they're getting value and also you're getting the result that you.
Right. Like you said, your community is your biggest supporters. So I'm very big on word of mouth. I try to have my community speak to the value and to what they get as much as possible. So that's really how I try to continue to do that. I do, of course, run ads and do, everything that business owners should do as far as marketing and posting every day and doing all these things on social media. But to be honest with you, when it comes to building my platform, I try to align myself with other people in the industry that I think have value and that I can bring value to. And I also have my community speak and tell others what do I do for them, what have they learned or gained. And so by giving them the platform to talk about what they learned, the good, the bad, the ugly, it gives you not only the ability to be shown in the good times, but also grow in the maybe not good times or bad times. So every business owner and entrepreneur needs to definitely always take notes and grow. And that's the biggest thing that I always try to do is try to grow and just listen to my community and have them really just bring people to me. And that's really what happens is, I get recommended in other groups or whatever. And, I just try to always jump on those opportunities.
I tell people opportunities you get to create value, you want to always over deliver that. So, what motivates you and how can you share that so it motivates someone else to keep going?
I would tell you to just seek mental health.
Mm.
I'm a big advocate on mental health. If you need therapy, if you need somebody to talk to, do it. There's so many stigmas about getting help that I feel are horrible because if it wasn't for those people helping me, I could tell you I wouldn't be here. So my biggest thing is to keep pushing and just find your happiness. Y'all, I literally lost 150 pounds doing what I love. I can run with my kids. I can take them to trips and go to trampoline park, stuff I never was able to do before. So my biggest thing is just find you. I tell everybody all the time, you cannot do anything for yourself until you're happy with who you are. So find your own inner happiness, work on yourself. I get a massage every 2 weeks. That's my one thing I do for myself. We spend money on our family, our kids, food, and everything else all day long. So just spend time and focus on you. And same thing for the men. I mean, I know I don't have a lot of men followers, but also they have to do what what makes them happy. My husband, if he has a bad day at work, he knows, okay, I need to go wash my car before I go home. That's my inner peace. Let me go do that. So sometimes we need to just figure out what it is to make us happy and keep pushing, because the moment you find you, everything else falls in line.
The moment you find you, everything else falls in line. That's super deep there, man. I like it. You keep talking about how you find you. In order for you to really elevate, you just have to do a thing. And most of the time that thing is just like being yourself. Be
Right.
you,
Yeah.
right? Most people ask all the
Don't
time,
do
yo,
other people.
right. How do I blow up? How do I do this? How do I do that? I'm like, just be yourself.
You don't want to blow up and not be yourself. If I had to like go live every day and pretend of how I talked, that would drive me crazy. Like,
Mm,
be you and be happy with who you are, and have a community that will call you on your stuff and pull you out in those bad times. I can tell you, if I went live, I went a week without going live. I had so many messages from my community and followers. Are you okay? Do you need anything? Or, that is when you know you've built the right community in the
yeah.
right place. So it's just like focus on you and everything will
Just focus on you, man. Everything else will fall in line. And get yourself out of negative
fall.
situation, anything that don't, because we know when it don't feel good, right? Like for me, I can tell, like sometimes, like, ooh, this feels a little some type of
Hmm.
way. But most people, it looks shining, it looks good. So like, yeah, it's good. All those things
Right.
are super, super important to keep you going as an entrepreneur. And yeah, so what keeps you going as an entrepreneur?
As far as in the negative times, I just don't dwell on them. Like when I have negative fallouts with family, friends, collaborations I have, I always just keep myself grounded, and that, you're staying true to who you are, that there's a mission and there's a vision, and that's to give your kids in this community you have more. And so you can't let those things tear you down, because you have those negative people. And some of those negative people are going to be the people that you never expected you had to cut off or you had to lose. But losing that weight by far is worth every bit of freedom that you get. Because the moment that you're free, you're no longer, how does this make them feel? How does this make them feel? If I do this, or if I teach this, or if I do this, are they going to be happy? Are they going to be okay with it? Same thing with your friends and family. I don't do this for them. I don't care if they support me, they don't. I don't care if they buy from me. The reality is I just need them to love who I am.
Yeah.
And if they don't, that's their loss, not mine.
That's it. It's their loss and not
Not
mine.
mine.
Just be you, man. Just
And you're going to
mine.
lose people that matter. So I tell people all the time, I've lost family members, I've lost childhood friends in this journey. I had a very wise mentor tell me there's a new devil to every level. The higher you get, the bigger you get. There's a new person or a new thing that's always testing you. And the reality is just stay true to who you are. And I say that so much because people get success and they get communities and they get money and they lose every sense of why they started. And that's just nothing I never want to be, or nothing I never want to do.
Stay focused on your why, because the shiny things will come to make that why feel like something else. But as long as you stay focused on that why, and also have a non-negotiable. Like if you have that non-negotiables and stick to it and know your why you do it, and don't let nothing else come in the way of that. I feel like there's a lot of success that can come from that. Let us know, what are some of your non-negotiables in this journey as an entrepreneur?
Staying true to who you are, treating people like people, and just being my authentic self. Like, I can't have somebody who doesn't reciprocate energy want me just to give, 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 but they
Hmm.
can't give to me. So I'm very big on reciprocating energy. If you don't give me the same energy, I'm not going to give you. If you don't give me nothing, I'm going to give you nothing. If you give me some, I'm going to give you some. If you give me all, I'm going to give you all. But my non-negotiables is absolutely just staying true to who you are. Like you said, you have this feeling sometimes, and business relationships and friendships. And if it don't feel right, 9 times out of 10, it ain't right. And just because it's not right for you, don't mean it ain't right for somebody else. It just means it's not your path. So me, it's just really truly staying true to who I am and not forgetting where I came from. I had a very successful year in business last year. I got fired the year before and had nothing. You know what I mean? So it's just like I can't pretend that because I have some success that God can't take it all away. Staying true to God and my morals and who I am as a person.
Staying true to God. That could take me somewhere else, girl. Staying true to God, man. Yeah, you gotta have a belief. You gotta have a belief. And I don't know what other people beliefs are, but me, I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in God. It gotta be some type of belief that you have. And that's what keeps me going, and just to know that at the end of the day, I am who he says I am. I am who God says I am. I am
Amen.
victorious. So those days where I'm feeling down, because it happens, we are not just happy, ready to go and jump on cameras every day. But at the end of the day, I gotta understand, like, yes, I am
God picked
great.
us for a reason, or God picked you for a
It's
reason.
all
So,
for a
right.
reason.
Yeah.
Like even at the rough days, it's all for a reason. You feel
Right.
me? I
Yeah.
like to that's the only way the message will be good. It's gotta be messy. If it's not messy, message is not good. You feel me? So like
Yes.
some of the path we went through is all for a reason, that story, it makes it come together.
It
All
makes
come
that victory better because it's so easy to always take the easy route. Like people will have people that come to them with business propositions and they could take that could make them very successful, but is it worth, like, that's just me. Money is not worth it at the end of the day. It has to be more. What is the meaning? Who are we touching? What are we doing? And that's what, yeah.
So Alexa, tell the people exactly what you offer to them and who is it for.
So I primarily target business owners of all types. So no matter what type of business owner you are, if you want information on how to grow, websites, drop shipping, sublimation, and bleach teas, my goal is really just to empower y'all and give y'all motivation. So even if you come over to Drop Shipping University and Beyond on Facebook, Alexis's Creations, Alexis Creation 903, my goal is to really just motivate you and push you. So I would definitely get interested in drop shipping, learn how you can make money spending no money up front. I have a free video on my website, alexiscreations903.com. That free video literally is a step by step of how you can make money, spend none up front. I'm very big on being a frugal coach and trying to give them income before they start investing in people. So that's honestly where I would start.
Tell us exactly where we can find you at.
Well, first, thank you for having me. I super appreciated it. Love this platform. I love what you do. Huge inspiration in the game. So definitely appreciate you for that. On Instagram and TikTok, it's going to be Alexis Creations 903. And then if you're on Facebook, Alexis Creations. And then my drop shipping group is Drop Shipping University and Beyond.
Thank you for joining
Yeah.
us today. I look forward to connecting with you real soon. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
You just have to be your authentic self, okay? Provide value for people and people will bring value back. All right. So if you find yourself in a sticky situation where it doesn't feel right, get yourself out of those situations. You feel me? So again, it's been nice hanging out with you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and all of that good stuff. If you're watching this on YouTube, again, let's jump in the comments. Let us know how you enjoyed this episode. What were some of your takeaways from this episode today? All right. Until next time, like, rate, subscribe.